Good morning, guys. Welcome to Fishful Thinker. I'm Chad LaChance. That's Fishful guide Dan Swanson. You've seen him on a bunch before. We're in Dan's Big Bad Ranger walleye boat. We're trolling for trout. We're just getting rolling. We got boards out on 2 rods already. Fixing to put a board on this one as well, guys. We're at 11 Mile State Park, 11 Mile Reservoir. You never been here?
Never been here.
I never been here. Never even seen the lake. Cameron guy's never even been here. So guys, we're fishing completely blind today. It's going to be really fun. We're going to troll, see what we can learn. We may stop and do some casting. We might even catch a pike or two. What do you think?
I hope we catch a pike.
There you go.
I know we'll catch some nice trout.
That's right. There you go. This place is full of them. So stay tuned, guys. This should be fun.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Peterson Toyota, Fort Collins, Colorado. St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Berkeley, catch more fish. Abu Garcia, for life. And Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
All right, guys, you look at that Lowrance HDS-9 right there. Of course, the HDS-12 running right below it. We're looking at multiple images from different transducers, but you can see all those weed growth, particularly down on the 12, on the down scan on the 12 unit down low. You can see those real distinct patches of weeds, and we're trolling these flicker shads right over the tops of those weeds, and that's kind of our goal today is our trolling. Is to troll right around the weeds, but not in them, obviously. And so the big goal is to keep our baits right above the top of them, and that's how we think we'll catch them. It's a really unique place here in South Park, but the other thing that's cool about 11 miles, right up the road is Spinney Mountain Reservoir, and that's part of this same system, and that's a great place to fish as well. We've spent some time there. That's a really great place to fish. Also got the combination of pike and trout in there as well. Of course, they're all impoundments of the South Platte River. A key thing about here at 11 Mile, they ice fish here a lot as well, and there's no limit on pike, so a lot of guys will come here and eat a lot of the pike that they catch, particularly the smaller pike that they catch. So that's kind of a possibility of harvesting some food and then these trout in here, and the trout grow like weeds in here.
Very fertile lake. Very
fertile, shallow and weedy for a lot of the lake, and that always counts for part of it. And then the other thing that's in here that a lot of people don't talk about is kokanee salmon, landlocked sockeyes. It's kind of crazy because we're seeing some fish rise and some fish sitting on the bottom in 30 feet of water. We've been bit on jigs on the bottom. We've been bit high in the water column. We've been bit feeding baits out behind the boat. They seem to be all over the place, which is part of the reason we're trolling. That's why we have flat lines, everything set up, guys, because we don't know anything about the lake. And so the first thing we're doing is using our time trolling to learn. So we see something we like, then we might stop and fish around it that we stopped and threw a jig for a couple of minutes already once and didn't catch any yet, but we think we will at some point. So
yeah, and as we're trolling along, you can set waypoints as you see stuff on the bottom, and then you can come back and fish on those fish on the waypoints.
Right, and those we're marking some fish sitting tight on the bottom of 25 to 30 feet, and I suspect that those are trout. Word has it they're eating crayfish in here. Beauty of 11 miles, there's tons of people that fish here, and so you can get lots of information on what's going on here at the lake. The lake's famous for its weed. It gets major weed growth like most of the South Park lakes do, which can be frustrating, but the flip side is that's why you have such big trout in here. And anytime you get a lake with a bunch of weed growth, it produces a lot of fish, whatever kind of fish you're talking about. Fish, and I'm hosed.
You are?
Yep. Okay, here we go, timeout. Is he still on there? Well, that's what happens, guys, when you're trying to deploy the bait, and I'm putting the board on. The bait's 30 feet behind the motor, literally right behind the motor right here, guys. I got a little flicker shad out, and we're just getting started. We don't even have all 4 rods out yet in our trolling pass.
Should we net him or you swing him?
Yeah, no, we'll net him. I'll get him over here. We'll net him. With this being a wrong-handed reel, this is not my fishing tackle, guys.
Yeah.
So there's your flicker shad right there, guys. And we literally haven't even got all 4 rods out. We did our open about 1 minute ago. And that is a beautiful bobo right there. He's unhooked in the net.
Yep.
Well, we're not going to keep him, so we're going to put him back. Look at that thing, guys.
It's a beauty.
11 Mile State Park right there. We've been trolling for about 40 feet. Water's warm, so we're gonna go ahead and rocket him back in there, guys. But literally, I mean, the motor's running. I had the bait 30 feet behind here. I was just clipping the board on the line, and whap, it gets yanked on while I'm trying to put the board on there. So I don't think flatlining right behind the motor is ever a bad plan. I've always said that, and in this case, it works real good right there. So that's a good start. Nothing like a fast start to your morning, eh, Dano?
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Beautiful morning.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Evinrude, spend more time on the water. St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth.
There's another one right there. There's a whole bunch of them right here. All right guys, so we've been trolling for about 30 minutes now, and we caught fish right off the bat, and then we didn't catch the other ones. We caught one of the bite and I missed him on a flat-line flicker shad. And so now we're going to start looking around the lake, but as we were pulling up here to stop, we've seen some risers, so again, we'll go back and forth. Anytime you're dealing with trout on a reservoir like this here at 11 Mile State Park, where they've got options from deep to shallow and you know, weed cover, rock cover, lots of stuff. They can be almost anywhere in the water column. And so these ones are up high in the surface in a shallow bay. And so we'll see if we can pick off one or two of these guys. The antelope season opens tomorrow, actually, here in Colorado for archery. And we're here in late August, and you can see a bunch of antelope coming down right here at 11 Mile State Park, coming down right over here. And I know there's even some good ones that come down through here and over at Spinney, and good opportunity for guys to hunt some big game, not just fish. So one of the things we always like to point out in all of our travels to the state parks is the fact that, yeah, we might be here to fish, but in a lot of cases, you can either cast and blast, or you can hunt at a different season than when you're fishing, but there's definitely diversity amongst the wildlife and everything that you see at these various state parks around the state. There's 41 state parks in Colorado, 37 of which have fishing, as I understand it. So you definitely have everything from, you know, warm water species to trout and grayling and everything in between. So we're back where we started this morning, guys. We've kind of bounced around the lake a fair bit. Fishing's been extremely difficult, and it's been calm, as you guys have seen, and now we're finally getting a little bit of breeze to come up here. It is middle of August, so not a prime time to maybe do some of your catching, and so we are going to stick around this area because we know we've seen fish here, we've caught fish here. We feel like that there's more activity here than most of the places on the lake, so we're going to come here and see what will happen now that the wind is back up. We've got a mix of wood cover and rock. The water under the boat's about 20 feet deep, but the weeds come up to within about 5 or 6 feet of the surface of the water in a couple of spots. All right, guys, so these fish are proving to be very, very difficult to catch, and we're not sure if it's time of year or what the deal is. It is, at this point, almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have literally boated one. We've lost 2 other trout and a pike. And so, in other words, it's been very difficult for us so far today. So Dan keeps getting follows. He's had a couple of them in a row reeling up off the bottom, which is fine, but we can't get those fish to trigger, actually bite. And so we're gonna keep playing with that. But as an angler, it's one of the things that you have to be observant about on any given day, is to be able to see that kind of thing. Now, the obvious answer is, well, something like a crankbait, but the crankbait doesn't get to the bottom, so you can't, I mean, it's water's 20 feet deep, 25 feet deep. So if you put a crankbait, it doesn't get down there. But if you put a jig down there, they don't bite it, but they'll chase it to the surface. So that's what we're trying to work out right here. They don't seem to want the vertical drop back down. None of them are biting it when you drop it back.
They're following it in when you're reeling it off the bottom. So you got to reel real fast and drop it back down, and real fast and drop it down is the only thing I can figure.
That's the Bernie, which means we need to do the Bernie retrieve, which means I need to put the Bernie retrieve on the tube jig rod with a heavy jig head so the bait will stay down. There's some cloud cover, that might help us too. He's biting every time. Got him. There we go.
Right,
just had to feed it to him a bunch.
Oh man.
Oh, buddy. I had to nurse that trout along for a while, and now we'll give him a minute. He's only on 6-pound test, so we'll be gentle with him. I had to nurse him along. He's on that little pro swim shad. No hurry, Dano, no hurry. And I don't know if we were rolling on that, but I nursed him along for a while because he kept bumping it every time the bait would slack. There he goes, right there. Net him right there. Hi, guys, I am not, we believe heavily in keeping it honest here at Fishful Thinker, and we have been struggling to catch fish, guys. And we started mixing it up. I'm doing the Bernie retrieve, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. But first, let me get this guy put back. And that's exactly what 11 Mile State Park's famous for, guys. There's lots and lots of those guys, and we're gonna put this one back right now. But that's a beautiful fish. See you, buddy. Take off down there. That's Power Bait Pro Swim Shad, guys. It's been a good bait for us in a lot of situations. It's got a very small profile and I've got it on a real heavy head. And what that does is it makes the bait be really reactive, stays tight to the bottom. We're in close to 20, right at 20 feet of water. So I throw it, let it go all the way to the bottom, point the rod at it and just burn the reel about 5 times real quick and then just kill it, but don't ever move the rod. And so the bait comes up, 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 and then when you kill it, it tight lines itself back to the bottom. And it's worked for us in a lot of situations when fish are hard to catch, and today was no different.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Lowrance. Find, navigate, dominate. Peterson Toyota, Fort Collins, Colorado. Colorado Parks and Wildlife.
Once he got on it, the whole key is never slacking it. I never give him any slack line, and so that you can tell if they're slack, you wouldn't know he was bumping it each of those times. And so by doing the Bernie retrieve, there's no slack between me and the fish ever at any point. And that's one of the things I like about the Bernie retrieve. And and we call it the Bernie. It's a homage to a mutual friend of ours, Bernie Keefe, who's a lake trout guide. And lakers are notoriously difficult to get to bite. And this is one of the ways that he gets them to bite. And we have subsequently used it in a lot of places for a lot of fish, which goes to show you that fish are fish to some degree. For the record, we caught one of our kickers to win the state championship as a coach, as a high school bass fishing coach doing that as well. And when they're tough to catch, for whatever reason, that tight line between you and them all the time can help. Otherwise, I would have never caught that last fish if I hadn't have felt him, you know, bumping on that tight line. And typical with a trout, dude, he kissed it, I think 3 or 4 times before I got him. Dude, it's all I can do to not jerk every time those things bump this thing. You can feel it. I've got 6-pound Nanofill, or actually it's 8-pound Nanofill on here, and an Abu Garcia Revo Premier. It's a medium light, extra fast powered St. Croix, 6'10" Legend Extreme. And then I've got about a 3-foot leader of 6-pound Trident 100% fluorocarbon, not the XL. I use the stiffer stuff for the leader. And that's my whole setup with the 1/4-ounce jig head and the little Pro Swim Shad on there. But you can feel everything with it, is my point. And those trout come up and they pop that thing. Your instinct is to want to jerk it, and you just can't. You got to just keep working the bait until it gets heavy, until they actually load it up. I mean, I don't know if it's showing up on film, but some of these fish, they're biting 3 or 4 or 5 times before I'm getting them hooked. And if you jerk on it the first time they nip it, then they don't come back and get it. You can't pull it away from them. And 11 Mile State Park here is a heavily managed fishery. There's a lot of trout put in here every year, tens of thousands of trout put in here every year. Kokanee salmon in here as well, as we've discussed, and it's a very popular fishery. So you know there's gonna be a bunch of fish in here. It's a question is getting them to bite. And as you can see, the conditions we have for middle of August, not ideal. I imagine this place is crazy at ice out or just before ice in. You know, it's a whole different story than the middle of summer, but right now we're looking at almost 70-degree water, and that's not ideal for trout by any stretch. It's also why we're being quick about putting them back. Got him? Here he is right here. Got him. There we go. That's a big one too, guys. That's a big one right there. That's a big one. This fish is a lot bigger than the others. In fact, I'm gonna give him a little bit of room on the drag. If this fish is not a lot bigger, I'm gonna be shocked. And did you see that, guys? Can we illustrate that any better than that?
All right, come on this side of you this
Okay,
time.
he is foul hooked, so he's not as big as I thought. He's foul hooked, but that's okay. We're gonna take him anyway. He's gonna come in backwards, Dano. And I told you, you can feel everything. I almost wonder if they're not batting it with their tail.
Everything. It might be.
Okay, sweet, he's off in the net.
Off the hook, yep.
And look at that little chromer.
Pretty.
Aren't these fish
Look at the
beautiful?
green back on them. That's.
I know, easy. Oh, you can see where I had him right there. Huh. No kidding, beautiful fish. That's a little cut bow right there. You can see the slashes under his chin. Easy, buddy, there you go. I don't need to drop him on the deck of the boat and hurt him. I think we've made some good adjustments, man.
Yeah, I think so too. It took us a good share of the day to figure it out, but
I think the thing that gets me going when it comes to fishing, guys, honestly, is figuring it out. Once I know how to catch them, I get bored in a hurry. For me, it's like, okay, well, how else can I catch them? Because that's a lot more fun in most cases, figuring it out for me. And I think at this point, we have found the adjustment we need. We got the little bait working, we got the retrieve we need. It's just a matter of getting around these grass beds, and now we're catching one about every 15 minutes, and we didn't catch any for like 3 hours. So,
yeah, it's way improved.
Same conditions, so yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Fishful Thinker Television is brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. St. Croix Rods, best rods on earth. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
The thing about 11 Mile State Park is it's a diverse park in that, like the rest of the state parks in Colorado, it does have group use areas.
Yes.
Which are great if you're gonna bring a whole family into a cookout or something like that. It's got day use areas, picnic sites scattered around. They're all, of course, right on the edge of the water. So you can, you can spend the day on the side of the lake without a boat, don't have to have a boat. There's ample shore access here. There's more shore access than just about any of the state parks. I mean, you can get almost anywhere around the lake if you want to, as far as shore access goes. So you don't have to have a boat for that. The other thing, you've got a full marina here, and so you can rent boats. You can rent even fishing guides. Dano and I are both fishing guides, but not here. But there is a full-service marina here where you can rent fishing boats. You can rent a guide to take you out, and that includes ice fishing, as ice fishing is hugely popular.
Yes, it is.
Not my gig, but you're a better ice fisherman than me. Have you fished here ever on?
I have not. I have not.
Have you done Antero on ice?
I have not.
Huh, neither have I. You cannot ice fish at Spinney, which is the sister lake to this one, Spinney Mountain Reservoir. You can't ice fish there, but you can hunt on both of them during waterfowl seasons or during established legal seasons. And so that's something, good choice for you. You got 5 miles of hiking trails around here, and I believe there's something like 350 campsites here. So RVers like yourself, Dan, can come and put an RV around. You can put a tent on the ground. You've got choices when it comes here as far as your recreational opportunities. It's a big park too. The lake's almost 2,000 acres. So it's a good sized lake for us, and it's a true Four Seasons facility as well. So that's good.
Yeah, the campgrounds are beautiful too. We drove by that one earlier today, and it's got the big rocks, the big boulders, and people camping amongst them. It's really nice. I like it here. I might come back again real soon.
I know, actually, right? Come maybe during not the dog days of summer. Yeah, some of the campsites with the rock formations around here, I don't know if any of it shows up, but Colorado's in the Rocky Mountains, well, heavy on the Rocky in this particular area. The other thing I will throw out here is if you're coming here in a boat and you've never been here before, very important that you pay attention to hazards, because there are boating hazards, rocks sticking up all over the place, and some of them are marked, but there's literally hundreds of them, so they can't mark all of them.
Well, we're fortunate that we're able to get the Lowrance social map for this lake.
Yep.
And the free social map, and it has helped us a lot running around here, knowing where all the shallow areas are.
Yeah, and that map can be downloaded. If you want to go to the website, you can download that map yourself. But having a map of the lake has been really critical for us to decide where to fish. And ironically, never having been here, not getting any advice as to where to fish, Dano and I both looked at the same spot, and we stopped there first thing this morning, and ended up being, at this point in the day, the only spot we've caught fish. And all we did that was by reading the map from day one stuff. There's a big saddle right here, deep water all the way around, plenty of weed beds showed up on the graph, and we got after them.
You're talking about people walking down to the bank and to fish, and those guys that are over here on this other side have caught a bunch of them right off the bank.
They've been sitting there with power bait on the bottom the whole day that we've been here, and they've caught fish, and so that's the beauty of fishing. We talk about that a lot. We joke, you can be out here in a big fancy boat with a jillion rods and trying all these high-end techniques, or you can sit over there in that armchair and wait for your bell to go off, and probably have a chance at catching them on either one. There he is. Oh, I had him that time. He might not come back after that. Got him. All right, there you go, guys. That's how you keep nursing them along. Oh, that is funny stuff right there. That is why you have to be patient and feed fish. You cannot get in a hurry on trout in a lot of cases when it comes to hook setting, because if you do, that's why we fish so much gulp and power bait for trout, guys, because they love to kiss stuff over and over and over again before they bite it. They like to sample it or I don't know what their deal is, but he's hooked right in the tip of the snout.
I'm extending its net.
Yeah, and I'm just going easy on him. This is not a race on how fast we can land fish, so it's more a matter of and notice I won't even touch the reel. I'm not even letting myself touch the reel hardly because I don't want to get, okay, here he comes, Dan. He's gonna come in, don't get in a hurry, Chad. Don't pull on him too hard. There's that big chrome sucker right there. There we go. The pro swim shad coming through doing the Bernie, baby. Look at the size of that trout, guys. Look how beautiful. Hey, stay in the net because the net's easier on your flesh or your skin. I actually got him on the chin, but that's okay because we're gonna let him go right quick anyway. Come out of there. It's actually right in the corner of the mouth and came out the chin. That's kind of a weird hook set, but look how fat that trout is, guys. That's a big old bobo right there. We're gonna again be quick. Look at the blues and the hues. Beautiful fish. Straight back to the bottom. And guys, there you go. I think we've made some good adjustments today, Dan.
You did.
Well, yeah, exactly. We had fun, but he's the one that got the chasers that got me to put that on and figure the whole situation out. But that doing the Bernie retrieve paid the bills for us. You know, throw it out, wind, stop. And then you'll feel them ticket. You just gotta be patient, keep working the bait until they come in and get it. So, great stuff. If you want more information on 11 Mile State Park, check it out at Colorado Parks and Wildlife's website, or Spinney, which is right over the hill right here. We showed you some of that. Fantastic place to fish as well. You know, the bottom line is get out and try it. Whether it's August and the dog days and it's hot to catch and hard to catch fish or whatever, it's more important that you get out and take the whirl. And we've had a ball today one way or the other.
We are, and I think I'm going to change.
There you go. Guys, I appreciate you guys watching very much. Please join the conversation on social media. Otherwise, we hope you'll tune in and we'll see you next week.
Now for Berkeley's best catch.
Got him. There we go. Just had to feed it to him a bunch. And that's exactly what 11 Mile State Park's famous for, guys. There's lots and lots of those guys, and we're gonna put this one back right now. But that's a beautiful fish. See you, buddy.
Berkeley, catch more fish.
Oh, God.
Fish on?
No, it's not. Holy crap, dude. Less sparkles on his boat's what I think.
That's what it is. Oh, the sparkles is what they lay.
Oh, the sparkles like in the power bait.
Yeah. I just got whacked.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
No, your bait's on the surface, bud. There's no fish on there.
Weed. Never mind.